Hello, my amazing grade 2 students. Last class, you worked on creating your God's eye. And now we are going to begin learning another line pattern through the practice of paper weaving. Paper weaving is so fun and I love it a lot because it can create lots of really unique patterns in our paper. And today I will show you the basics of how to create a paper loom and the strips at home here. So the first thing that you are going to start with is take any piece of paper that you have at home. It doesn't matter, but mine is black. And then I have taken another piece of white paper and I have colored a design on it. It doesn't have to be anything special, but I just thought I'd do something swirly and fun, a creative way to spend my time here at home. But with the piece of blank paper, what I want you to do first is fold it in half that way, or hamburger style, corner to corner. There it is. Next, I am going to go ahead and make a border along the edge. I'm going to be using my ruler, but use whatever straight edge you have available to you. And I'm just going to go ahead and make just a little skinny border along the edge. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want my woven strips to fall off of my loom. So I'm first creating a border. This is going to help us, boys and girls, so that we have a place on the black paper where it's almost like a frame for our strips. Next, I am going to go ahead and make straight lines going across my paper here. You can make them as thick or thin as you like, but what I always like to do is use this red line in the middle of my ruler to make sure that all of them are the same width across. So I put that red line onto the line I just finished drawing, and that makes sure that those strips are the same exact width across from each other. Okay, boys and girls, now that I have drawn all of my lines, the next thing that I am going to do is I am going to cut on these lines all the way up to this top line. I am not going to cut this top line because when I open it up, I want there to be a frame along the edge of my paper. So keep your paper closed, and we are going to be snipping up to this line all of the lines that we have just drawn. Okay, once you have finished cutting all of your strips, open up your black paper and you will see that you have all of these strips, but the strips are not falling apart because I did not cut the line at the top where I had drawn my frame. So they are all connected still inside this black paper, but now I have all of these gaps in between my strips. This is going to be my loom where I'm going to weave all of my paper strips into. And what I'm going to be doing for my paper strips is, because I colored in this beautiful piece of paper, I'm now going to cut this into the strips that I will use to weave in between my paper loom. So these colored strips, you may not have colored paper at home, so instead let's make some beautiful colored paper, which is what I've done. Now to make my strips, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper into a strip, and then I'm going to accordion fold it back and forth to see that the strips are the same width across. So we know how to do this folding technique where you flip your paper back and forth, making sure that those strips are the same width across. And when you open it up, you're going to see the lines where you can cut to make your strips. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. You should do this all the way across your paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut one strip just to demonstrate for you how to do this next part of our weaving. So take your paper, and what I'd like you to do is take your pencil, and I want you to write an X on every other strip of black paper. So I skipped one, X, skip one, X, skip one, X, skip one, X, skip one, X. Okay, so now I have X's on every other of my strips. And what I want to do is take my strip of colored paper and cover up those X's. So I'm going to make sure that the ones that don't have an X are not covered. But I want to hide those ugly X's that I drew onto my paper. See how they're going away when I close up on top of that? Okay, boys and girls, so now that I have my strip inside my loom, it covers up all of those X's that I had drawn. Now, boys and girls, the next thing I want you to do is you're going to take your pencil, and again, you're going to draw X's, but this time, I want you to draw an X in all of the black spaces below. Not below the colored spaces, below the black spaces. So notice how all my X's are not below the colored part, but they are below the black part of the paper. Again, let's cut another strip of our colored paper. And let's go ahead and weave it on top of all of those X's that we had drawn. So I take one hand and I pick up the paper strip that I need to maneuver my paper behind. Actually, I'm going to flip this around because I want the picture to be the same. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Our goal, boys and girls, is to create a pattern where we are creating these checkerboard of black strips with our colored strips next. So boys and girls, you can see now that because I put this strip in below, it has created these black and colored squares. Now we are going to keep repeating this all the way down to the bottom. Continue with the method of drawing an X on the opposite strip of what you had done before. So now I need to cover up the black part. Yep, I did that wrong. I need to cover up all the black part. Wherever below there is black, that is the next strip that you need to go over. So let me continue doing this and we'll see what it looks like at the very end. Okay, boys and girls, I have completed weaving my swirly picture through my background loom, and you'll notice that there is a checkered board pattern. We know that we have done it correct. If we look down a column or across a row, we can see the color picture. We see these individual squares all the way down and all the way across. That is done properly. Now, the very last thing you can do is, if you have at home glue stick or tape or even a staple can do, you can take and put a little bit of glue on the edge to secure those strips of paper down, as well as you can trim off any extra that you have on the edges. That is up to you to complete your woven piece of paper. So on the back, I can see the white of my paper in the checkerboard pattern, and on the front, I'm going to see my beautiful pattern. All right, boys and girls, make sure that when you are finished with this work of art, that you upload it to Artsonia so that I can see and leave you some amazing comments. All right, boys and girls, have fun creating.